Salutations, future Twig. Past Twig here once again. We're back with another card call out for everyone today. Today we're taking a look at Footfall Crater, which is a 1 mana Aura enchantment with Enchant Land. Enchanted Land has tap this land. Target creature gains trample and haste until end of turn. And it also can be cycled for 1, and that just allows you to discard this card and then draw a new card. So there's actually a lot of little things going on here, and especially on a 1 mana or enchantment, there are a lot of powerful synergies and abilities you can kind of proc off with this. Getting into those, before we get into those synergies though, let's just quickly talk about the pricing of this card. 23 cents as of right now, been printed once or twice, and it's been used in about a little under 14,000 decks, or 0.42% of all decks on EDH. So overall not bad, but I think it could definitely be used in a lot more decks. And now on to the Synergies. First up and most obvious, of course, is a Voltron style or Exalted style deck where you're attacking with like one singular creature that's been buffed up to the 9s. So a great first example is Ryu Storm's Edge. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. So basically he allows you to double up your combats in the command zone. And additionally, of course, a lot of samurai have the ability to get double strike very easily, and as you can imagine, a trample hasted double striker is a very powerful and very scary combination, especially if you're attacking twice per turn. So, obviously with this kind of Voltron style ability, having trample and haste on a land is very helpful because you're basically just paying 1 red mana to get out that huge ability. And additionally, what's nice is that with a lot of Voltron style decks in particular, your commander's kind of a weak point, because if your commander gets blown up somehow, you lose all of your effects, or if it's an Ouro style commander, a lot of your auras end up in the graveyard. Well, because Footfall Crater is attached to your land, even if your creature itself gets removed, Footfall Crater sticks around and can be used on other creatures in the future. Moving on, you also have Ouro style synergies such as Tiana Ship's Caretaker. Now, Tiana can also be built out as a Voltron style commander very easily, but there's also ways where you could use this in this kind of Aura style deck to maybe have a bunch of little creatures that you equip with auras or different types of equipments, and then you just have this one aura again on your lands that is kind of protected. They can use just to give creatures haste for activated abilities, give them trample for getting in for damage, and all sorts of little things that you can do with Tiana. And last but not least is probably one of my favorite commanders that I would use this card with, which is Elena, Kessig Trapper, which is a partner commander, 5 mana, human scout, 4/3 creature with first strike, and she has the ability of tap, add an amount of mana equal to the greatest power among the creatures you control that entered the battlefield this turn. So immediately what I think of when I see this is that you want big creatures with lots of power. Generally those are going to be kind of like a beat 'em down kind of deck, and you're able to add a lot of mana based on those powers back to yourself. So looking right at this, if you have Footfall Crater in play when Elena comes down, as long as you leave the land that Footfall Crater is attached to untapped, when Elena enters the battlefield, you can immediately tap Footfall Crater, which allows you to give Elena haste so she can tap, and assuming that Elena comes down, no other buffs on her, you can basically get 4 of the 5 mana you use to cast her right on back, so you can maybe play something else. And there's a lot of ways with Footfall Crater where you can immediately give your big creatures trample and haste, and as you can imagine, in a deck that cares about having creatures with lots of power, that's a lot of ways for you to drop some bombs and immediately swing in for massive amounts of damage. And with Elena being a partner commander, there's a whole lot of different types of decks you could build. You could go with green for like a Gruul style beat 'em down deck. You could go like with blue for more of like an Is It style control deck. There's a lot of ways you could utilize Footfall Crater in those kinds of decks. And that is actually all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Card Callouts, and have a wonderful day all. Take care.